welcome to today's art stream. We're going to do something I don't often do today, something I haven't done for a while actually. We are going to be starting with some sketching and design work. We are going to design an outfit for this lovely Tiefling Druid that I have started working on today. I've really enjoyed doing this character so far. The hair has been really fun, so looking forward to working on a cool outfit for them. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge some layers. The head and the hair can kind of be one thing. We've got like the staff there as well. And yes, it is Tiefling Day! Praises go up for Tiefling Day. And I'm doing very well actually. It's been quite a hectic week, but looking forward to the weekend, as I'm sure are many of us. So to start with, when I am doing kind of outfit designs, the first thing I do is, as you can see, I put down a nice sketch of the character's body shape. I almost always do this when it comes to doing outfits. I'll have the anatomy underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hike down the opacity of that layer so we can just start sketching some ideas for the clothing on top there. So, as usual for sketching, I use the same brush type that I usually use for line art, which is to say general brushes, fourth one down, hard round pressure size, and make sure that you have transfer turned on so the marks are nice and soft. And I'm just going to pull up my reference for this character. Okay, so we have fairly simple clothing for this druid, as druids so often are. We are going to keep it nice and lightweight, and mostly cloth with a bit of leather probably. And hey, Malhidiel, lovely to speak to you again, it's been ages. Fantastic. Make sure that all our layers are multiplied so they stack on top of each other nicely, and we can kind of just start. So I'm thinking that this character is going to, first of all, the commissioner would like them to have a cloak. So that's the first thing we are going to do. Now I'm kind of quite a fan of hard edges. When you've got a lot of soft clothing and not a lot of armor, it can be nice to have some contrast. So I'm almost like, ooh, what if we had just a little bit of fur in there? This is where it's quite experimental, so if I start with a cloak with some kind of very light, kind of fluffy trim, just going around the outside for warmth. Yeah, this character's got really fun hair. And Verma, thank you so much for subscribing. It does make a huge difference. Okay. And obviously we'll need to have a nice cloak clasp, which we can make all nice and druidy. And then inside, obviously, the fur layers, we are going to have the fabric. Keeping all these layers really nice and loose for now. And I think whilst there is a hood on this, it's quite a lightweight cloak, so it's going to droop down behind, so we're not really going to see it too much. Going back up to a larger brush again. Whoops, sometimes Photoshop likes to put in random spots for no reason at all. Okay, so now that's in, we can kind of work out the shape of the lower parts of the cloak, so I quite like giving a cloak a nice bit of spread, kind of adds to the silhouette of the character. So once again, just like gently working in the idea that you've got this slightly fluffy border. But it always always going to have lots of kind of folds and bits as well. So just kind of working out roughly where the edges of that cloak will be. Okay, so now we've got that. Something we can do is if we want to, we can go to liquefy. And we can just kind of, whoops, not that big. Get a nice big brush and play around with some of the composition elements. So if we want the clasp to come down a bit, we can do that, which is quite nice. I think it actually needs to go to the left a bit more, so we'll go back to liquefy. Push it over to the left. Yeah, it's better. And then we can give a bit more volume to the left-hand side there. Okay, and with that layer done, I'm just going to call that cloak for now so I don't forget which bits are which of the sketch. Make another layer and we can start working on the layers underneath. Okay. So going down, smaller brush. What part should we do next of this character's clothing? Again, they're dressing quite simply, so I'm thinking, oh, I had an idea earlier and it's completely bounced out of my mind. I think what we'll do is we'll have like a broad belt, like one of those wide waist belts. I'm having to switch back and forth between layers. By that, yes, that's kind of what the liquefy is doing because it's not altering the sketch underneath. So you can change the stuff on the cloak layer without altering stuff underneath. There are ways you can look at stuff underneath, but I find this is the simplest way to kind of adjust layers on the fly. Okay, so we're going to do the top next. And looking at the reference that I've been provided. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to have a kind of a collar area first. This might not work, so we're going to do a little test at first. Smaller brush, there we go. Thank you so much to a giant Giga for following. We have like a slightly high collar here. This character, I believe, is the leader of a tribe, so we want them to look fairly kind of regal in what they're doing. And then we've kind of got a mantle effect here, which I quite like. Like so. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that, so I'm kind of happy to leave that on its own layer. We're not going to add too much detail right now. That's going to come as we go along, and there'll be more in the line art as well. I think we'll carry on this layer for now. So underneath that, I think there's going to be a fairly simple kind of tunic shirt. I think this character does want sleeves. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to stop the shirt quite high up, about here. Okay. Do we want it to have a fastening in the front? Let me think. Do I want that? I think we might go without for now. It is indeed sweet, sweet art time. Let's try to work out how this is going to go around the bust area. Bear in mind we've also got the sleeve coming in here. And I find at this point it helps to kind of work, not like super quickly, but keeping your brush strokes kind of quick and light. helps, I find. Alright, so I think we're going to give them very simple leather braces because everyone loves a druid with leather braces. And we're going to go in for a nice organic leafy shape, I think. And we're going to make it so they're not completely closed, so that we get the nice kind of crisscross here. And then we'll do the same on the other side. And then, just like the other side, there are 4 points for the crisscrosses. And the lacing. Awesome, so we've got now some nice, yeah, I love druids to pieces. Druid's definitely one of my favourite classes. For sure. Okay. So with that, we can now start to work out the shape of these sleeves. Sleeves are weird because they can fall around the shape of the arm in so many different ways. So you kind of just need to paint a ton of them before. It's like a form of divination, predicting how fabric's going to sit on a character. So in this particular character's case, I'm thinking that the sleeves are actually going to go right down into these braces, which means there'll be like a gathering point of fabric around the elbow. Something like that. Whoops, that's completely the wrong brush. The wrong tool even. What I might do is might just take off the cloak for a minute so I can kind of see what I'm doing with the sleeve. It helps to get rid of other layers sometimes, I find. Oh, that's awful. Poor druids. Yeah, the gauntlet's coming in a bit, so I'm going to I'm going to take that line back, so it's essentially only coming into there, and then the rest is all the folds of the shirt. All right, let's turn those back on now, so we can see what we're doing, and then kind of continue down with the other side. Yeah, I can see how this is going now. Sometimes it takes quite a bit of trial and error to work out how the folds are going to sit. Especially if you can't, like, just... When you're streaming, it's hard to go and look at a shirt. You know, it doesn't make for very compelling viewing. Alright, okay, there are some sleeves. So, next up, oh, thank you so much, Burnt Sushi 94 for following. Very kind. Very kind indeed. I was thinking, what if we had a little kind of crystal teardrop on the bottom of the mantle? That's cute. I like it. Nice. Gonna get rid of this mark here. Because... yeah, we're going to have it go down there instead to give the bust a bit more definition. Awesome. And with that, I think it's time for... actually, no, we'll carry on in this layer for the broad belt. I think. So broad belts are great for cinching in the waist. I know it's one of the popular ways to give shape to a costume when you're doing LARP costumes and stuff like that. Alright, I can already see that's way off center, so let's just get rid of that. There's our center kind of line there. Much better. And rather than do lacing on this one, I think we might actually do like a sequence of smaller belts kind of clinching it shut. And then one more, I think. Okay, and then we can add some buckles to these. Oh, Circle the Moon Druids are lovely. I haven't got to play one for very long. I did it on like a one-shot, but very fun. Actually, this belt's just going to be a normal short belt, so that tail's going to come down there. But for this one, we're going to have a long tail that comes down underneath the belt on top. Okay, awesome. So I'm quite happy with that. I think the next thing to do will be to merge this down and make a new layer for kind of the lower parts of the costume. I think this character is going to wear kind of like a skirt situation. I think we will start with kind of open sides here. Kind of like tunic sides coming down. Of course, they've been clinched by the belts. There's going to be quite a few fabric folds. I might just turn off the cloak and hair again so I can see what I'm doing. Like so. Thank you so much, Angelus Lucis, for following. Alright, and I'm going to add just a marker to remind myself I'm going to put some trim on this to make it pop a little bit. Everything needs pretty trim. And then I'm actually going to have like a lower layer to the skirt here, which will also have some trim and probably some kind of like tree motif or something. And then we're just going to suggest the legs in there so that it's still kind of like quite visible what's going on. And then what I do at this point is I will duplicate the kind of anatomy layer, put the opacity back up, and I will erase everywhere where it is essentially being covered up. Which is pretty much everywhere. This is a fairly well covered character. So just erasing the original lines in there. So in there, so anywhere else. Sometimes it's good to flip this on and off just to see where we haven't touched yet. And down the front. Alright, nice. So we basically now have sorted the costume for this character. And we can basically just get on with the line art. So, yeah, there we go. One thing to note later on, I will be adding kind of some pretty leaves and flowers to the staff. But other than that, I think we are ready to get stuck in with the line arts. What I might... Oh, there's some areas to raise here, actually. We don't want the cloak to be covering up either the hair or anything else. Might even be worth turning down the opacity on the cloak just a bit so we can kind of see the joins between the different layers of the sketch. But for now, yep, I am pretty happy with that, and ready, I think, to move on to the next step. So, what I tend to do next is I'll gather all those different layers together from the sketch. We will merge them, put it back on multiply, because often it turns off multiply when you do that. I'm going to hold on to the anatomy layer just in case the commissioner at a later date wants any different outfits or to edit anything that's going on already. Cool. So, let's just move her down a bit in the frame, kind of center her a bit more. There we go. At this stage, you will frequently probably have seen artists talk about flipping their canvas so that you can spot kind of issues with the work. So usually I do this especially with detail on the face, because faces can be very hard to balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip canvas horizontally, and this allows me to fix issues I might see. In this case, the chin is looking a little bit too sharp. So I'm just going to soften that a little bit. Yes, I do take commissions. They're closed at the moment, but I'll probably be opening them up in a month or two, depending on how quickly I get through my current batch. There might be some major upheaval in my life soon, which of course will probably slow down commissions a tiny bit, so apologies to everyone, but I will be back on track as soon as possible. I'm not sure yet. Probably nothing will happen, but we'll see. Thank you to Gaia's Forest and Kebi for following. I'm going to go back to that lovely liquefy tool to do some just poking around the eyes to make sure they are balanced with each other. Bringing that side up a little bit. Bringing the underside in a little. But other than that, the eyes I'm actually quite happy with. And I think we'll flip back now. Make sure we're happy with it. The other side, yep, that's fine. Soft. And then I think we're ready to start the next part, which is line art. So first of all, before I start the line art, I need to adjust my canvas size. I like to keep a little bumper of clear space around the edges of my work. It's just a compositional thing. But otherwise, we need to make sure that the canvas is going to be big enough to allow me to get detail in. I'm going to resize to 3.4K. That should be big enough. I might be able to push it a bit further. Sometimes this takes a little while for Photoshop to do. And I am reminded I really ought to save my work because I haven't saved in a while. And that would suck. So this character, I think, is called Imitzi. So we're going to just keep it as a Photoshop format for now. Alright, so that is saved. And thank you so much, Angelus Lucis. It's very kind. When I open commissions, I'll make it obvious to everyone. And hi, Rebel! Thank you so much. This character's been a lot of fun so far. So, we're going to take down the opacity of the sketch until we can just about make it out and make a new layer and call it line art. Making sure that it's set to multiply, we are going to pick a dark grey about 2/3 of the way down. And size 9 for the brush should be alright to start us off. I'm tempted to start with an 8 actually. Because I don't want the line art being too heavy. And then very gently, we are just going to start doing essentially a neater version of the sketch underneath. Thank you so much to Dealor for following. And if you are enjoying the stream, please do consider subbing. Maybe you have your Amazon Prime sub unspent. If you do throw it my way, I do have a Discord that is exclusive to subscribers and Patreon members to hang out, share artwork, talk about games, organize kind of gaming groups, all that kind of jam. It's very chill. If you're already a sub and didn't know about the Discord, there it is. Thank you so much, Phoenix Iwaki. That's very kind. I'm pleased you enjoy the work. But yeah, depending on how things go this and next week, you might be seeing a very different room that I'm streaming from in a few months. But I can't talk about it any more than that or I'll jinx it and it won't happen. Alright, I've given her a fairly soft ear shape because, I don't know, I just feel like it suits a druid, you know? Okay, that's the detail on the ears done. I'm going to do the facial features next, so I'm going to jump all the way down to a size 6 brush, which is nice and small for detail. And I usually, when I'm drawing lips, I'll start with the middle line. Thank you so much, Rebel. I hope so too. And then I'll just line in the top lip. And the bottom lip. Again, incredibly gentle, barely putting any pressure on the tablet when I'm doing this. Have I taken drawing classes? So I mostly am self-taught. I went to university for animation and VFX when I was about 18. It didn't really have too much in the way of drawing classes though. It was more about software and the actual animation side of things. The one thing I did find very helpful was life drawing classes. Super useful for getting a good understanding of anatomy and form, but you can do something similar if you have access to just kind of the internet, and you can find, I know there are websites which do like free life drawing poses to do studies of, but yeah, life drawing is incredibly handy. Definitely recommend that. But other than that, mostly self-taught. Just kind of look up art a lot, find what inspires you, and draw it a lot. In my case, tieflings were probably the catalyst for me learning to draw people better. But yeah, I've been drawing with a view to kind of following it as a career path since I was about 15. So that's about 10 years. But I've always kind of drawn for fun. Like when I was a kid, I'd be doing it all the time. And that kind of helps if you've got that grounding. You can absolutely like start from scratch. Like now though, there's nothing like a lot of really well-known concept artists and famous artists working on films and comics and stuff today started a lot later in life. So did I have a variety of models for life drawing? See, that is one of the issues. We did basically have one model and classes were like every few weeks. We did have like different models occasionally, which does definitely help. I think drawing a diverse range of body types really definitely helps. So yeah, don't just draw like the same person over and over again. Thank you so much, Sweet Tooth 1, for following. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Alright, keeping the lines super soft for eyes because you want those curves to be nice and gentle. Gosh, I'm already hungry. What is it about streaming? As soon as I start, I get starving. Alright, just gonna come around and do the eyebrows. The thing I find with doing line art is, at least in my particular style of drawing, I keep line art actually quite messy and loose to the point that it almost looks like a sketch when you're really zoomed in. And I find that so much more relaxing for doing line art. I used to hate doing it and found it way more stressful because I'd try and make every line perfectly smooth. And you really don't need to do that. Tiefling warlocks are great. I had an ASMR warlock who I drew like a tiefling version of, and I'm like, damn, I want to play this character now. Right, follow around and do the horns, I think. Yeah, since we've already started on them. Yeah, plain touch racers are absolutely my favorite ones. Ganassi, fantastic. Never actually played a gnome. I've played a halfling, but I've never played a gnome. Thank you so much, Janders82, for following. Alright, that's one side of kind of horn rings done. Let's just finish the upper part of the horn itself. Alright, and we can do the other one. Actually, I think maybe we'll put in some hair first, which means we are going to go up to, ooh, maybe 8. 9 might be a bit much. Oh gosh, yeah, I feel that pain, Border Lathalas. I have awful luck when I'm rolling. My dice rolls are famously atrocious in my home group. Alright, there's some hair. Now we will just do that second horn, so we're going to go back down to a 6 because we've got the detail of the rings. Got another one up here. And then we'll just, whoops, wrong brush. Carry on following the horns around up here. Lovely. Okay, so next we can carry on down and do the hair. Do these cute little flowers in the hair are going to be on a separate layer on top, so that we can kind of see that detail. So move this way a bit and get out the camera. Alright. What I might do actually is I might do this on a separate layer so I can just keep the lines nice and free flowing without worrying about going over what we've already done. And thank you so much, Alison Howell, for following. We are going to go to an 8. I don't know why I picked a 9. Thank you for the sub gift, Les F. As always, thank you so much for your kindness. Again, with hair, I find it best to keep the lines really fast, free-flowing, and loose. It helps get movement into the hair a lot more that way, I find. No, not like that. I change my mind often. We're actually gonna change the way the plat comes in, do a bit of experimentation here. Thank you so much, Angelus Lucis, for subscribing. That's wonderful. Thank you. You should be able to access the Discord now, actually. Wonder if someone could drop the link in chat again. Thank you, Rebel. Okay, so I might just pop in the collar before I finish the hair, just so we kind of know where it comes in. And we're going to drop down to 7 because we're getting a bit more detail that we want to focus on around here. Thank you so much, Celtic Wings, for following. Goodness me, we're really grabbing in all the followers today. Thank you so much. Right, so we've kind of got the edge of the mantle coming across there. Which means we can just finish propping in some hair there. And we'll do the other side of the collar, and then we'll do a layer for those pretty flowers that are going to be in the hair. If Photoshop can catch up with me, that is. And we got some kind of crinkles here as the side of the collar's kind of being pushed down a bit. Can I see how it's looking without the sketch there? Yeah, totally. Like, some people lurk and just watch the art. I have some people who, you know, you can chat about your characters and your D&D characters and all that kind of stuff. You can look for games. I made a new section for like more video game related stuff on the actual Discord. I think it was last week, because I know a lot of people playing stuff like Among Us and might want to find groups together. But I just want it to be like a really chill kind of welcoming place to kind of share enthusiasm about D&D and stuff. And some little flowers down there. We'll put some up here as well, and then we'll do the jewellery on the ears. Aw, Alison Howell, thank you so much. And we'll just pop some jewellery in the ears while we're on this small brush. Oh no, I'm sorry, Mandawiki. It looks like Nightbot got you. Okay, so now we've popped that in, what we can do is erase kind of the bits that it's going in front of, just to kind of tidy up a bit, really. Alright, let me see what it looks like without... Oh, there's a bit more to do here, actually. Okay, lovely. Let's turn the sketch back on, because now we need to work our way down the clothing. How do we want to do this? Let's start on the top layer, actually, and the first thing we're going to do is work in this kind of furry edged mantle. Oh yeah, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes the Discord can take a while to connect. Hopefully it should put you through soon. We've had it in the past where it took like a tiny bit for people to be allowed in. Unless, do you have your, like, sometimes it's about having your Discord kind of connected to your Twitch account? Can also be a thing. I don't know, it's wild technology. Yeah, Stargazer 3303. It took me a long time to get comfortable enough with digital, to the point that I felt that I was as good on a tablet as I was with pen and paper. Now it's the opposite. I paint so much digitally that I feel a lot more comfortable doing it this way than I do on pen and paper. But I've been painting digitally now for about, again, probably coming up to 10 years. And I actually started out by doing line art and sketches traditionally with like pencil or pen. And then I would scan those, take them into Photoshop and color them digitally. I found it was easier to break down the process that way and kind of learn one thing at a time than try and do the whole art process digitally all at once. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never really done it the other way around. So starting digital and ending up traditional, because I haven't really been able to do much traditional art for a while. I'm based in a fairly small flat, so I don't really have the space to kind of spread out and do my favorite traditional medium, which is oils. You also need super good ventilation for that, and that I do not have. But I'll have to give it a go sometime. Alright, those are the furry bits of the mantle done. Now we can just do the bits that cover the shoulders. Oh, oil paints are just lovely. I love them to pieces. I miss them so bad. They're so expensive and I just can't. Don't have the space and I can't really afford to get a load of new oil paints anyway. I used to use them all the time when I was kind of doing my A-levels. It's my favourite medium. Alright, this one side. Thank you so much to Stargazer3303 and Cool Gamer account for following. I hope you enjoy the stream. Alright, that's both sides of the mantle down. Let's do this little clasp down here. We're going to go all the way down to a size 4 because this is quite detailed. Painting fabric folds is something a long time ago I hated more than anything else in the universe. I had so many of those learn how to draw manga books, like the really bad ones that are clearly written by Western authors, and the art's just super cringe. And I was like, oh, teach me how to draw fabric. Funnily enough, learning to draw fabric is best done by, you know, who would have thought, actually studying fabric. And also I found that actually learning to sew and making a lot of clothes for LARP in particular taught me a ton about the way fabric falls, and it's actually really helpful for then later on, you know, painting it. Just something I didn't really expect when I started making costumes. Let's try and make this line a bit smoother actually. And then we're going to add the little decorative bead just underneath there. Alright, coming along really nicely. Have I done much costume making recently? Not recently, but I did actually earlier today post to my Twitter some designs I've been working on. I'm kind of feeling the itch to do some more costuming soon, and had some ideas for my Empire character, so I might be back to it sooner than I thought, or not. It really kind of depends what happens. Everything in the world is so crazy right now, and so up and down, that I honestly can't predict one month to the next. I would like to do some more costuming, so, though, I really would. Alright, that's the folds for the shirt top. Keep them fairly simple. Yeah, costume making stream I would absolutely adore doing. I'd need to get a better camera, which is, you know, part of my kind of plan for the year, to be honest, to upgrade to a decent camera that I can use for other things. But yeah, costume making stream definitely on the cards. Do I know of any resources that detail up-to-date LARPs? Yeah, so this is a bit of a difficult one, because I will totally agree with you. LARPs are very bad at coordinating and just having a list of when all the LARPs are. If there is a list, I'm pretty sure there is, but I don't know where to find it, and I imagine it would have been completely thrown off by all the COVID stuff. I know there have been like no LARPs at all this year, obviously. Due to COVID. I mean, I'll definitely be talking about Empire dates probably next year, assuming it's on. I'm not totally sure it will be. Yeah, there probably is a resource out there for that. Alright, let's do this bracer. What I might do is just draw it, and then we can always erase this part later when we put the staff in. In terms of active LARPs that are happening, I mostly only know of UK-based ones. Obviously, Empire. There are tons of World of Darkness LARPs that happen all over the country. You kind of just got to kind of search the game that you're interested in, and then the city that you're interested in, like, that's within range for you, and see if there's any going on. That's how I found out about a few happening in Bristol. In terms of the big national ones, I mean, you've got Green Cloaks is the one I know about, but I haven't tried. Was it Creative Pastimes? Strange Pastimes or something? I only really do Empire, so I don't actually know a ton about the other events that go down. Yes, it's such a fun hobby. You meet the most hilarious, amazing people. I can't recommend it enough. I was super nervous about starting, but I was pretty hooked in no time at all. Yeah, sometimes the D&D jokes can get a bit far, but you know, most of the time the groups are okay with stuff like that. Alright, cool. Let's just do this hand. I'm just going to erase the parts that we need to get rid of. Just kind of preparatory. And then we'll just block in the hand. Hands are another thing that you just kind of have to throw time at as you kind of get the hang of painting them. Take a long time. Some little claws on the fingers. Fantastic, so I think we can now move on to the other arm. So we'll go back up to a 7, I think, for this. Yeah, hands are super hard. Like one of the, like, final bosses of art, if that makes sense, to get the hang of. But you feel pretty great when you start to be able to draw them. Like consistently. See, hair's an interesting one. I like painting hair because I kind of found a technique that really works for me. When we do kind of this bit down here, I'll probably be able to show you a bit more what I mean. It's something you need to kind of develop a process for. Thank you. you so much, Sofa King Handsome, for following. Yeah, it's definitely one of the really challenging things to draw, but I find the easiest way to draw hair is, rather than drawing individual strands, which you really don't want to do, imagine clumps of hair as ribbons and kind of give them the 2D physics, the 3D physics on a 2D plane that ribbons have. So you kind of twist and curve a clump around as if it's a ribbon, and then you just add kind of lines to suggest the separate hairs inside, and you will get something that's quite, still fairly stylized, but it will help you kind of convey the movement of the hair quite nicely. Apparently that's how 3D artists do hair as well, but I didn't know that. One of my friends pointed out, I think Stu told me that's how they do it in 3D as well. Yeah, nothing better than an artist who can do good hands. It's very satisfying. Right, I'm going to jump down to a 4 on the eraser just to neaten up these laces. And then I'm just going to go do the same on the other side. Okay, just to neaten that up nicely. And then we will do the hand. And also the bottom of this sleeve as well does need doing. Let's jump to 7. Lewd. I mean, hands are very sexy when you get them right. Right, I'm gonna go down to 6 purely because we're gonna be doing some nails, which are quite little and detailed. Gently just suggest the side of the nail without like drawing the whole thing. That one's a little bit too high up. What games are we playing that aren't D&D? I play a few non-D&D 5e games. In the past I've played a lot of World of Darkness. I played some like homebrew systems. I love Star Wars Edge of the Empire. That's one of my favorite systems. And also the setting, the way the book's written is gorgeous. But yeah, there's a few other. I've played Powered by the Apocalypse, Monster of the Week, that kind of thing. Alright, there's a hand. So you kind of see what this looks like so far. It's just the line art. Looking alright. Let's do another save so we don't lose everything. Fantastic. Now we can tackle this nice little belt down here. I'm going to go back to this layer so we can start to kind of layer things up a little bit again. And going back up to a 7. Thank you so much to Stort and Ezred1 for following. Alright, let's do this belt that's kind of on top of all the others first. Oh yeah, VTM is very heavy. You want to make sure you know your groove very well and like trust them and stuff. I'm gonna pop down to a 6 for the belt buckle, just so it's not too heavy on the line art. Oh, first year anniversary. That's quite amazing. When a game kind of has lasted a whole year, you know it's a good one. Alright, that's belt numero uno. Let's do this kind of middle one. This big one here. And then when it comes across here, and then we'll do this top one. Why don't I use hotkeys to make my brush smaller? I probably should, honestly. But it's like when you do something a certain way for years and years and years, I just have muscle memory to quickly like zip around on the tablet rather than doing it with hotkeys. Also, my keyboard is like not super far away. Far enough away to make it just as much as an inconvenience. Right, and let's just do the top corner up here. And then the tail coming down. Adding the kind of edging to the leather, and there we go. There is the belt. The next thing to do is the skirt, and then the cloak, and the braid, and the staff, and then we're done. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the main layer to do this. Jumping up to an 8. that was too far over. Okay, there's the trim. And then we're just going to add some of the actual kind of shaping in the sides. Like so. Fabric folds, and then, oop, wrong layer, the other side. Do the outside edge first. Gosh, I'm so hungry. Okay, and then there's the two parts of the skirt. We'll just do the quick kind of central part. But I hope the music hasn't got too quiet. Let me know if you can't hear it very well. Oops, did not mean to use the blur tool there. And then we'll just pop in the legs as they are underneath. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Les F, for the sub gifts in chat. Thank you so much. As always, you were wonderful and very, 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 very kind. And it's just lovely. Thank you so much. Oh, just realised there's a bit missing then. Alright, now let's just mark in the braid. Nice and heavy, but you could really clonk someone with this braid. Alright, yep, almost done there. Let's just add the little tie at the bottom. And then we can add kind of like this shape of it here. Just coming in and around. Again, this is kind of what I was talking about the other day, well, not the other day, earlier today, about treating hair like ribbons. Rather than doing every single strand, doing like a chunk at a time. Like so. And there's the braid. So I think the last thing, two things to do obviously are the cloak and the staff. I might do the staff first actually, because the cloak is obviously behind everything else. So first things first, let's merge down these two. So we've got one line art layer for everything else, and then we'll make a new one just for the staff there. Oh. We'll take a nice break and have some food afterwards, because I am starving. And don't forget to save. Thank you very much, Rebel, for reminding me. Oh, you can see that line up there is a little bit too far over. And then the nice thing about this this particular staff is it's kind of rugged design, so it doesn't need to Oh yeah, so the canvas flip, we did that earlier, so for King Handsome. I tend to do that before I start line art, so when I'm doing the sketch stage, because I prefer to iron out issues in the sketch stage rather than doing it in line art. Ooh, always suspicious when your DM gives you surprise gifts. Really kind of get the twisty kind of wooden feel to this. Do we just have to do a realistic looking staff? It depends. Like in this case, we're doing a wooden twisted staff, so kind of keeping the lines quite loose and like jittering a bit kind of gives you that nice rugged organic feel, and kind of working out which direction your spiral goes and kind of sticking to it also helps. Yeah, so I'd say kind of look at like gnarly old trees and look at like how the roots and stuff kind of entwine. I often find that staffs look more like roots than they do like branches, so it's kind of better to use them as reference sometimes. Okay, there is a staff. Oh god, my shoulder's killing me. Ah! Well, I think we'll finish this line art and then potentially leave it there. We'll see. So, one last new layer. Well, actually, no, not one last new layer because we've got to add flowers to the staff. What we're going to do now is just pop in the edges of the cloak. So, down to a 6 for the fluff. And then we're just gonna pop in the fluffy trim. then we'll do the trim on the other side. Not quite so much on this side. Alright, that's the trim. I'm going to go back up to an 8 just to pop in the fabric folds, as usual. And then what we can then do is just erase where they bisect other things. So in this case, they go through the hair a bit too much. Then we can turn off the sketch layer because we have a lovely line art all ready to go. And the very last thing I want to do is add a bit more decoration, such as flowers and things, onto the stuff. Oh, hey Geek Warrior, are you the one that commissioned these sets of characters? I'm trying to remember. Everyone has completely different names on Twitch, so if you are, thank you, and I hope you are liking where Nizki is going. Is Nizki? Yeah, Nitzi, not Nizki. Right, let's put some nice little leaves up here. I think we'll use a 5 for this. I'm not gonna massively overdo it, just gonna add some here and there. And then just probably a little bit down here. And then we can go back down to the layer the staff is on and just erase bits underneath that we don't need anymore. And then just doing the ones up here. And there we have it. A Tiefling Druid line art all done, ready to be painted up, which I will probably be doing this evening now I think about it. Alright, so I think that is probably a good place to leave it for today. We actually got quite a lot done, which is awesome. If you want to see this piece all finished, I suggest you check out, if you haven't seen it already, if you could check out my Twitter. That's where I tend to upload a lot of finished pieces, as well as give updates about when I'm streaming and commission status, that sort of thing. If you're not a big Twitter user but you still want to kind of keep up to date with my work and social medias, check out my Instagram. Basically for the same stuff. You'll see costume design and occasionally miniature painting on there as well from time to time. If you purely want to see my portfolio and my best pieces of work, please go look at my ArtStation. There's quite a lot on there now, but yeah, please do consider having a look at that. Oh, new link. I now have a YouTube channel. Past VODs from streams that I've done before will be on there, so anything you've missed, you should be able to find on my YouTube channel. So check that out if you want to have a look at some stuff I've done before today. And last but most certainly not least for me is my Patreon. If you want to throw a little bit of support my way and you like the work I do, please consider supporting my Patreon. I've got various tiers, just starting at $1, where you can see exclusive art that I don't upload anywhere else, works in progress, there's some step-by-step tutorials on there, and all sorts of kind of bits and bobs really, and it just helps massively allow me to kind of do this as my full-time career, so thank you all so much. Absolutely finally, the music you've been hearing in the stream is all by the wonderful artist Kai Engel. You can find their work on the Free Music Archive. It's royalty-free stuff, so great for Dungeons & Dragons games, just great ambience really. And I believe it's also on Spotify, so do please check out their work as well. So I think that's everything. Hopefully I will be streaming again next week on Wednesday at 5 PM UK time as usual. No DeviantArt link, sorry. That one's saying secret for now. But yes, I should be back on Wednesday, 5 PM, same as usual. Unless anything wild happens. Who knows? It's a wild year. So until then, have a wonderful weekend, stay safe and cozy, and I will see you all again very soon. So thank you so much, and have a great evening. Bye-bye!